In a hole in the ground in a car park in the centre of the English city of Leicester, archaeologists believe they may have found the answer to a puzzle that has endured the centuries. The final resting place of King Richard III, who died in 1485, the last English monarch to fall in battle. For years, inaccurate maps and conflicting local legends had obscured the trail. Then finally, this year, archaeologists were able to narrow down the search, finding clues as to the location of the church where Richard is said to have been buried.
So this map dates from 1741, although it could possibly be a little bit earlier, but that shows very clearly a location here called, it has Greyfriars written on it. It shows the boundaries of the precinct, so the boundary walls here. So this was really our principal piece of evidence for the location of the Greyfriars.
And what they found was beyond their wildest dreams, the skeleton of a man bearing all the hallmarks of the king. The bones are now under lock and key in a secret location, awaiting identification.
He has what seem to be injuries consistent with a death in battle, which we know is what happened to Richard, and he also has this curvature of the spine, the scoliosis. And those two last things are not particularly common, so they happen occasionally, but not all the time, and therefore the chances of them being both of them on the same skeleton and in the same place, it would be a fairly unlikely series of coincidences.
And it was here on Bosworth Field in 1485 that Richard died, in a battle that would mark the end of 30 years of bitter civil war.
We think there was around about 20,000 people on the battlefield. It would have probably been a very fluid event. It would have been a bloody event. We believe there was around about 1,000 people killed here, but it was relatively short, only about 2 hours, because once Richard had been killed, there was no need to continue that fighting.
From here, Richard's body was taken to Leicester before being put on public display and then buried. Now, before the story can reach its conclusion, the bones found under the car park must be formally identified. And this is the man that may hold the key. Michael Ibsen, a Canadian carpenter living in London. He is a 17th generation descendant of Richard III, and if DNA from the skeleton matches his, it will be almost conclusive.
The only line that they were able to follow through to current times was the line that led to my mother, or so I'm told. Obviously it would be a great disappointment if there was no DNA match, but fingers crossed, wait and see.
It will take scientists a couple of months to confirm the match. Perhaps only then can the mysteries surrounding the last of England's Plantagenet kings be finally laid to rest.